My next guest has been awarded the title of BBC Music introducing Band of the Month, or should we say Artist of the Month for February, because he's a producer, he's a composer, he is Daryl Holloway, and he joins me on the show tonight. Daryl, how you doing?
I'm fine, thank you very much. Thank you for having me on.
No, really good to talk to you. Loving your music, by the way. And every time I hear it, you just lose yourself in the music. But we're going to talk about that a little bit later on. But let's get to know you a little bit first of all. So how you been during lockdown? Because that's something we can all answer, isn't it?
Yes, not too bad. I've been working through the whole thing, so I've been keeping myself pretty busy.
So what do you do when you're not making music, mate? What do you do when you're not doing that?
I work for funeral directors, so I've been a little bit busy. But in the when I'm not at work, I just sort of chill out at home. I've got a wife and 2 kids, so they keep me pretty busy. But when I have a moment to myself, I enjoy a bit of a video game playing, some of the older stuff from about 25 years ago. So.
Oh, lovely! And what do your family think of your music? What do they think about the way all that's going at the moment?
Yes, it's they've been quite pleased with it all. They're always got something to say about it, and they're always very supportive of it. So it's nice to have a bit of feedback every now and then.
Well, yeah. Well, you know what they say: your family are the most fierce critics.
Yes, but also slightly biased sometimes, I think. But,
well, yeah, it can go that way as well. So let's talk about your musical background then. How long have you been writing and performing music?
For the best part of about 20 years. Sort of started in my late teens and then just sort of carried it on behind closed doors and only really started sharing it about 2 years ago. So I've been quite nervous about it. But it's been nice to get some out there.
Well, I'm glad you say that about being nervous, because there's lots of people who listen to this show every week who are singers, they're in bands, they're bedroom producers, composers, whatever it might be, and it's almost exposing yourself, isn't it, to send in your music? Did you find that before you did it?
Yes, I was very nervous about it at first, but then one day I just threw caution to the wind and uploaded a little bit on social media and just say, here it is, listen to it. If you like it, you do. Great. No,
that's the way to be, isn't it? And how did you react? How did you feel when you got your music played on the radio on introducing?
Absolutely chuffed. I was over the moon with it, and I think I told pretty much every person I encountered the next day that it had happened.
Oh, well, there's something about it, isn't there? I mean, I'm not a performer, right? But I do know for a fact that there's something about listening to that song or that piece of music that you've made, and listening to it in your bedroom or your home, or playing it or listening to it in the car, and then hearing it on the radio. It's just got a different feel and sense about it, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's quite a surreal moment, really. It's your creation, but for once it's out of your control. It's being fed back to you rather than you feeding it to somebody else.
Now, looking at your biography on the upload, it says that you studied music production and radio in your youth, and the aim is to one day score a motion picture. I mean, how confident that will happen? Because it's going in the right direction at the moment, isn't it?
They're quite lofty dreams, I think. Maybe the motion picture's a bit too high, but no, certainly something to do with TV or film or anything like that. It would be nice for that to happen.
Yes, absolutely. We want you to do that. That's what this show's all about, isn't it? Giving you a platform to take it to the next level. And who inspires you? What kind of composers inspire you? I mean, for me personally, my favourite composers, and Morricone, I have to be honest, who we lost recently, didn't we? What about you?
Yeah, so the soundtrack artists do influence me quite a bit. Obviously, you got your John Williamses and your Hans Zimmer, but I think one of the biggest influences on me has been Alan Silvestri, who did the Back to the Future soundtrack. I just think his music's just wonderful.
So let's talk about how you put your music together. So how does that work then? What kind of inspires you to make a particular tune, to put that together?
Sometimes it just comes from sitting and having a dabble on the keys, and then other times a tune will come into my head, or strangely enough, it's just sometimes you have like an emotion, and then you just want to convey that into a piece of music. And
I've got to ask you as well, when it comes to instruments, how many instruments can you play? How many instruments do you pick up on a particular piece of music?
The piano is probably the main one. I've tried my hand at drums and guitars over the years. One time I even tried my hand at bagpipes, but that just failed absolutely miserably. But I always return to the keys. I think they're probably my go-to for an instrument.
Yeah, because you can be a jack of all trades, can't you? But do you know what? You've got to be a master of one of them. Absolutely. And so, how does it feel then? I know I kind of touched on this at the start, but how does it feel to be our artist of the month? Because there's many a singer, band, and composer, writer, whichever way you want to look at it, who would love to get that accolade. It's a massive pat on the back. How does it make you feel?
At first, I thought it was a joke.
Come on, this ain't right. Who's winding me up?
Then it started to dawn on me, and I let a few people know, and then I thought, oh, I'm just going to tell everybody. So I've told all my family, all my friends, and so yeah, I'm sort of enjoying my 15 minutes.
Well, I'll tell you what, mate, I'm going to give you more than 15 minutes. How does a month sound? Does a month sound all right?
That sounds perfect. I think I can get on with that, yeah.
So what are your hopes then for 2021 then? Have you got any plans with your music? Of course, it's going pretty well so far, isn't it, via introducing?
Yes, it is. It's going quite well. At the moment, I have been working on a children's story,
oh, wow.
Which is currently being illustrated at the moment, but it has a musical accompaniment to it as well. So I've been working on that, and I'm hoping later on in the year to do some sort of launch of that.
Oh, well, listen, make sure you keep us posted on that, Daryl. I really do mean that, mate. Well, listen, it's an absolute pleasure to have you as our BBC Music Introducing Artist of the Month. What would you say to anybody who hasn't sent in their music, like yourself, a little bit nervous to do it in the beginning?
Just do it. I mean, I've had lots of doubts over my music over the years, and sometimes I worry about my education in music. But somebody once said that you don't have to be a great musician to write great music, and I've just sort of kept that in the back of my head all these years to just push myself to just keep going. And so, yeah, just dive straight in.
Great advice. Daryl Holloway, congratulations, and thank you for joining me on BBC CWR.
Pleasure's all mine.